positive thing about yourself?
One positive thing about me is I am a team player all around, and I can take criticism very well. Well, it's mainly the criticism part. That's two things, but yeah, I'll go with the criticism. Somebody can tell me something, and it can be negative or positive, and I'll take that and run with it. One negative about me is I get pretty dead set on task to where I need it to be finished, and if it doesn't get finished, it'll bother me.
It's like an itch you can't scratch.
Exactly.
All right, that's pretty good. These shows are really good. You always gotta make sure, you don't take anything too hard. Especially working here in corrections, inmates will
Yeah,
say and berate you at all times. You can never take you can't take it
of
hard.
course, of course. But that goes for coworkers as well. If somebody sees me doing something negatively, I will rather them tell me than go to somebody else and tell them, and then it becomes like that you're that guy now. I'll rather them tell me, I'll fix the problem, and then we all go from there.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Jefferies, what made you choose to apply for Department of Corrections, and what skills would you be bringing to the table?
So I chose corrections because I don't know how many people have read my application, but starting the city was rough for me. Got involved in with the wrong crowd, and I saw, and I've been in and out of these places, and then I changed my life around. And I feel like I can bring an insight to possibly talking to somebody in the prison, so they don't come back, so they can see the other side of things where you're just not in and out of prison. Also, things I can bring is a different insight on the team aspect of how corrections could change things to make people not come back, and et cetera, on those lines.
All right. Could you tell me a little bit more about what do you mean by the bad crowd?
So I was involved with people who were doing bad things in the city when I first got here. Um, got involved in some crime and things like that. But once I got expunged for all that, and I've only been up and up from there. Started the business and been a positive light for the community. So I mean, I just got involved with the wrong people early on when I first got to the city.
That's understandable. Well, I'm happy you're able to, turn your life around and do better for yourself.
Yes, sir.
All right. By any chance, do you have any previous relevant job experience, whether that's formerly being part of another, Department of Corrections or former experience being a police officer?
Does that have to be in this city?
No.
I do. I have an extensive amount of LEO experience. I've been around for a very long time, and in my previous city, uh, I did countless hours and countless years in a gang task force, and I retired from there uh, because of some family issues, and we had to leave the city because the crowd there were getting up in arms about the gang task force being as strong as they are. So yes, I do have previous experience.
Okay. Could you describe a situation where you demonstrated good communication skills?
Of course. So in my previous city, when I was at LEO, I also was the not I wouldn't say head of communications when it comes to banks and everything like that, but I was like a lead negotiator. So I would make sure that the problem wouldn't progress, and I would de-escalate the situation. So I would guess you would call it a de-escalation specialist and a negotiator. So the example would be we had a hostage situation. Um, a guy had a suspect barricaded in a home, and me and the guy talked for about 20 to 25 minutes, and he let the hostage go, and he gave himself up to the police. Um, yeah, I mean, if you have any more questions about it, I'll go for it, but I'll just leave it at that.
That's some pretty good talent right there. It's always good to be a good negotiator, especially during these trying times. there's always a chance that a group of inmates might be able to take you or one of your cohorts hostage. It's always good to have someone that has good negotiating skills to
Yes,
be
sir.
able to
All
take
comes
them
with a good
care.
rapport, and the more they see you, the more you would give them respect. They give you respect.
This actually kind of goes next to the next question. Can you describe a situation in which you made a bad decision, and what repercussions did that decision have, if any?
Yes, sir. So, made a really bad decision one day. So we're at the gang task force. We were doing a like a stakeout kind of thing, and we were sitting in a location waiting for a drug transaction to happen. The drug transaction happened, but the drug dealer had somebody spot us out. So that began a full blown gunfight, which led to one of my fellow coworkers being gunned down.
My God.
Um, I think the negative on there is that not enough planning, not enough communication, and just poor execution on my end.
See,
Yeah, I live with that every day, sir.
I'm sorry that you have to live with that.
It's okay. Hopefully, we can push forward. That's what led to my downward spiral towards this city, but we're on the up and up, and hopefully we can keep moving up from here.
100%. Now, could you tell me how would you handle a situation with an irritated inmate, and what type of de-escalation tactics would you employ?
So I'm assuming they're upset because they were caught of any sort of way. So best thing I can do is stay calm. Don't entertain their anger with anger. Uh, bring a level head towards the situation. Try to see what they're angry about. Hear them out and try to figure out a situation that we can get them to the processing period. And then once we get there, then we can go from there, have a civil conversation, learn about the inmate, and see what we can do to make them feel better in a safe manner, of course, like not in a friendly but professional. It's very professional, but you know what I'm getting at.
Always, these inmates like to kind of like tug at your heartstrings a little bit. They make you feel
Of
bad
course,
about them, and then they'll come in and they'll just take you hostage and use you
exactly,
against it.
exactly. We all got a job to do, right? So at the end of the day, we're just doing our job, just like they were doing their job. They got to get their money for whatever reason. It could be for family, it could be for themselves. But at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing, just legally.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. To your best ability, could you describe what you think the day-to-day duty and responsibilities are for a corrections deputy?
Okay, I'll describe to my best ability. I might be wrong on some things, but we'll go for it. So you wake up, do your daily morning task, and you get to work.
Mm-hmm.
You clock in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure you do your rounds. You check on inmates, make sure nobody is fighting or dead or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm assuming at some point during the day, you do some you have something to do with food, so they have to be able to eat or things like that. Make sure that they're fed. If any inmates being released, I'm pretty sure you get that process going where they can begin their release process, and just make sure that everything is in line with regulations of the prison.
Okay, it's pretty good. I do like that you put in that you do our dailies. Of course, we always do our dailies when we come in.
Exactly.
One especially would be doing our rounds around the perimeter, making
hmm
sure that nothing's breaking the outer gates as well as entering the inner gates that we have.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna
It's
give
about the
I'm gonna give
rounds. You know what I
oh
mean?
oh absolutely. All right, now I'm gonna give you three scenario based questions and just answer to them the best way you can. Okay.
Sounds good.
So you and your partner are conducting an inmate transport. Halfway to the facility, you observe an accident involving three vehicles. The damage to the vehicles is significant and they are partially blocking your path. Furthermore, you observe possibly an injured individual. Walk, walk me through your next actions.
Fuck me.
So it's partially blocking
Yes,
or
yes.
fully blocked. Okay.
Partially blocking your path.
Okay. So for one, I never want to leave the inmates by themselves during a transport. So that's one thing that I can't do. Um, just me personally, I know that's a big no-no. Um, secondly, if it's partially blocked and there's a way I can get through, I would get through. And while I'm doing this, I would radio in to possible EMS and other police units to get to the scene as fast as they can because there's possible injuries. And third, I'm gonna be on my way.
That's right.
Because I mean it sounds kind of harsh,
Fuck
but at the end of the day, my job is to transport inmates and make sure everybody gets there safely, including me and my partner, because we need to get back to our families as well as the inmates need to get safely to the prison. So yeah, we'll continue transport.
Wonderful, and yet that is correct. You know, if you even if they you see and you feel sad for them, we have to keep on going no matter what. We cannot stop the transport whatsoever. We have to get them to the prison as quickly as possible.
You don't want to turn a situation that's already bad worse
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
possible loose inmates and things like that. And it's I don't know how many inmates we have at the time. If it's possibly a full bus, it's only two of us. We're outnumbered, in cuffs or not. Somebody can get away, so we continue transport.
Absolutely, especially you don't even know what type of crimes they committed. They could be a
Exactly.
serial murderer. You know, you just let them
Exactly.
back off the street.
Yep.
All right, so you and your partner are conducting a yard walk. So let's say kind of like yard. You know, you go through the yard A. You see the tower in the
Hmm.
middle, but then you
Hmm.
have six cell blocks that kind of go around it.
Correct.
You got cell block 7, that's the main one. You got cell block 6, which is kind of for death row. We don't really use it too often. It's kind of empty.
Hmm.
Cell block 5, that's kind of the lifers. That's where our high risk people are in.
All
Then we
right.
have our cell block 4, which is the workshop. You have the metalwork, woodwork, and then the laundromat. And then on the other side of the middle tower would be the med bay as well as the showers, which would be to escort inmates out during the release, and then the
Hmm.
administration building.
Okay.
While on patrol, you notice two inmates who seem irritated and clearly having a verbal dispute. What would you do to de-escalate the situation?
Well, first thing I'm gonna do, like I said, we have to stay calm in these situations. We don't want to escalate the situation more and make it a bigger issue than what it is. First thing we're gonna do, if I'm alone, I'm gonna try to separate the inmates as fast as I can, and hopefully that works. If that does not work, um, if separation doesn't work, I have to try to play the middle and make sure I stand in between anything that can possibly go wrong. Because it's my job to keep these inmates safe, but it's also my job to stay safe as well. So if it's a situation where they're just having a verbal dispute, I'm going to use my authority to separate these two inmates. And if it becomes violent, then I have to go to physical force. And physical force will be the fastest way to de-escalate a physical altercation in my eyes. So first separation, then I get in the middle, then we go to physical force. Physical force for me is always last option because we don't want to see anybody hurt.
All right, that's a pretty good answer right there. I like that. So the final scenario-based question: you are taking a break with your colleagues, and you overhear a deputy describe a situation in which you believe their action was in a violation of the SOPs. What would you do in this situation?
And it's a big room of us. All right, it's not just us two.
No, it's just like a bunch of your colleagues all together.
Okay. So what I would do is, once we get out of our break room and everybody separates, I'll get with that deputy and I'll tell him like, "Hey, man, you should probably go over the SOPs." Like I've always a calm manner with me. I never get to a level that I don't need to be. Um, Tell him that, "Hey, man, that's not okay, and you can't keep doing that because it's can put your job at risk." Try to go the friendly route. If I keep seeing it, then we go to whoever is in charge at the moment or whoever is the commanding officer, and we go from there.
All right, that's pretty good. I like that. Go escalating into a situation. It's pretty good. You want to go and talk to him down.
Yeah, not in front of everybody. People can get a little bit more, little defensive when you're doing it in front of everybody. They feel like they're being singled out for something that they possibly didn't know was not allowed. So it's always good to talk to somebody first and talk to the person that's doing it instead of going straight to command. And now it's a bigger issue, and it'll be really messed up if I did that and they didn't know that they were doing something wrong.
Absolutely. It's always better to like talk it out. Try to because we're all working together at the end of the day, and we're always we're always here to help each other no matter what. So if you see anyone trying to like do something wrong, always go to them first. Make sure, hey, that's not what you're supposed to do. Try to do this better, and try to work
Yep,
from there. If they keep doing it again and again and again, that's when you kind of want to bring it more towards the
exactly.
command, so we could get things sorted.
It's really we're as strong as our weakest link, and it's my job. If I get this job, it's my job to make sure that I'm not the weakest and the guy next to me is not the weakest. We all got to be on the same page, and I'm really team based. I run my business this way, and I'm not saying I'm going to run this place, but I'm going to bring that mindset here to make sure that whoever I'm working with is on the same page as me, and we're having a good time working, but we're also keeping it real professional and light.
Absolutely. All right, let's see here. All right, got three more questions for you. Ready?
Let's do it.
Could you provide me an example of the ask, tell, make model?
The model one more time.
Ask, tell, make model.
Ask, tell, make, model.
Yes.
Hmm. Can I just take a guess? Because I have no idea what that is, sir.
Absolutely.
Ask, tell, make, model.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that somebody asks you something,
Mm-hmm.
you tell them, and then I think it's a perfect example of how you ask and tell a question. I don't know.
All right. Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir. I have no idea what that
All
is.
right. So what it pretty much is the ask, tell, make model is pretty much kind of like how you would handle a situation to de-escalate a inmate. So let's say there's an inmate that doesn't want to put on the prison uniform. First thing first, you would ask
Ah,
him to put on the prison uniform.
ask, tell, make,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha,
And if they
gotcha.
don't do it, then you tell them. And if they don't do it again, that's when you have to, you know, last
Right.
step is
Basic
make.
de-escalation.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
Alrighty. Describe to me what you can do with a simple wood pencil besides writing or erasing.
Oh, you can do quite a few things with that. So with a obviously you can turn that into a stabbing device. You can make it a knife. You can stab somebody with it, which is the ultimate reason why it's dangerous. Another thing you can do, if you have a way to shave the pencil down, you can start a fire. There's also metal on that pencil, so with the metal part around the eraser, you can turn that into something to also be like a tiny little slicing device. You can do that with the eraser. I don't necessarily know what you could do with an eraser. I mean, you could possibly turn. You could take the eraser off and make some type of slingshot and hurt somebody with it, like in their eye or something like that. So a pencil is very deadly in a prison.
Absolutely. That's actually pretty good. We don't get too often where people, talk about, what they can and can't do with the pencil. That's a pretty good one right there.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies.
Oh, fuck's my. Why isn't my? None of this is working. None of my things are working.